Good morning, Michael Walsh here. It's got a bit of an overcast day today. At least we're through the really hot weather. A little misty as well, but today is August the 28th. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button, that helps our channel, and ring the notification bell if you would. That will update you of any new videos. If you would, please share this video with a friend and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Today we're going to put the marking harness on the Suffolk Ram Lamborghini and moving them in with his breeding group. So let's get started. This is the marking harness that goes on the Ram. It's nylon, those straps. Some will go up over the neck and then around the legs. And then the crayon is in here. This is one we used last year, but it's kind of dried out. We're using medium crayon. There's warm weather, medium, and then cold weather. So the consistency of the crayon is determined by the weather. The warm weather obviously is a harder crayon because you don't want to use it all up. And the medium is obviously a little softer. And cold weather is very soft because the temperature will affect the hardness of the crayon. So we're going to change this out. New one's here in the package. Yeah, this says mild green. So that's what we're going to use and get that changed out, and then we'll go see if we can catch the ram. These crayons are secured by a pin that goes through it, and I learned the hard way, I think it was last year, that you need to keep these in rodent-proof containers because the mice and rats like to chew on that paraffin, and they actually cleaned one of them completely out. So I've got to remove that pin. I straightened that pin out. It was turned down so it wouldn't back out. And then we just clip on to this one and pull it out. And this crayon just slides out like that. And see, that's a cold green. So that will be used, I think it's when the temperature is below 65 degrees. So we'll just save that for when the weather gets colder. Each crayon comes with its own pin, so it's just a cotter pin that slides through, and then this end down here, you just bend that back so it doesn't slide out, and that's what secures the pin in the harness. One end is narrower than the other, and see, this is the wide end, so that won't fit. So it slides in like that, down to there. And then you just find the hole and line it up and secure it with the pin. You have the pin there, have it lined up. I just have to line up the other side and push that on through. Got the pin secured, so it's ready to go on the ram. The reason we use marking harnesses is to know that when the ewe is serviced, when the ram services the ewe, then that leaves a green mark on her hindquarters, and that tells you the day that or days she was serviced. And then we can check on a calendar and calculate the approximate due date for that ewe. Makes it easier to watch them and know when they're due. And then a ewe's heat cycle is about 17 days. So at the end of 17 days, we're going to change this, and we'll put a red crayon in, and we leave the ram in for at least 2 heat cycles, so about 35-40 days. So any ewes that did not conceive on the first meeting, if they come back in, then we'll know that they came back in again. That way we can adjust their due date that way. So that's why we're doing this. It gives us a better idea of when the ewes will be having their lambs next January and February. Here's an update on pasture planting. It's been 8 days, and you can see there's some coming up here, one over there, right there. So very pleased. Right there's some. We got about a ½ an inch of rain. I think it was yesterday or the day before, which was perfect. So should get a good germination, and our pasture is well on the way. Up here with Heidi and the rams, and I got to get a mineral feeder that's protected more from the elements because this got wet. You can see the wet mineral there. So I just put some fresh in today. That's Cracker. He's our Dorset Cross Canadian ram. And that's Lamborghini. That's the Suffolk from Canada. We're gonna take him up today. Brought grain. They're condition to green in the bucket, so hopefully we'll be able to catch it. See a little spot on his forehead, or top of his head, his pole right there. It's just a little sore and the flies are bothering it, so we're going to put some fly spray on that. It's called screwworm balm. It'll repel the flies. It's got a little bit of a antibiotic in it too to help that heal. There, I just sprayed the whole top of that. Got a good coating on it. That'll keep the flies off of it. That's the way the harness fits. I gotta adjust it just a little bit. This strap's just a little low. They did grow from last year. I had to let it out. It comes up here and then it crosses over the shoulders. So make those adjustments and then we'll take him out with the use. Got it all adjusted. You can see it's just right there at the point of his brisket. And it's a fine line. You don't want it so tight that it rubs them raw. But yet it's got to be tight enough not to slip. And then you just tie these on themselves so that they don't fall off too. So, and as the breeding season goes on, he'll lose some weight, so those will actually loosen a little bit. We check him every day just to make sure that he's wearing it okay and nothing slipped. So let's get him down to his ewes. As you can see, maybe, he eats very well. So that's very helpful when you gotta move rams or whatever. He just kind of naturally did that. I think Lynn and Arnie had probably worked with him a little bit, because Cracker does the same thing. But it really makes it much easier when they're conditioned to the grain bucket. So that makes catching them easy. And then as I brought him up from the pasture, I just intermittently gave him a mouthful of grain from the bucket. And to reward the behavior. So we'll get him out to the ewes. Okay, we've got him out here in pasture with his ladies. Turn him loose. We're breeding him to 8 Ile-de-France ewes and the 2 Jacobs ewes. We sent our lambs to market Monday, and 6 of them went to the abattoir. And I was able to look at the carcasses the next day once they were processed, and I tell you, the Suffolk Ile-de-France crossbreds, really nice lambs. I was very pleased with the quality. So he's showing some interest already, which is what you want. I don't know that the ewes are in season. They're probably cycling some now. We'll find out, but that's the reason for the marking harness, to mark them when he breeds them. Showing some interest. The ewes should be in standing heat for them. They usually stand for about 8 to 16 hours. When they're in heat, they'll come up to him and they flag their tail, and she might be in season. Yeah, it looks like, well, I don't know. Maybe not. You can see it left a little green mark on her there, right on her hip. When they've been bred, though, their whole back end is green. So, yeah, he bred her then. And one ram can service 50 to 100 ewes, so shouldn't be any problem with him to cover 10. So, good to see that he's interested and active. That first one there with the green mark on her hip, I think she might be in heat. I don't know. We'll know in a few days, or in at least 17 days. But they can tell by the smell. The ewe gives off pheromones, and so does the ram, and that triggers the ewes also to come in season. So we'll get the number on that ewe that he serviced, make a note of it. It's either 24 or 25 blue, because she lost her tag and we put a yellow tag with a number written on it. So Normal breeding behavior. They sniff, they flick the tongue, they arch their neck along the side of the ewe, and if she's receptive, then they usually mount. Looks like she might be in season today. He's mounted her multiple times. There he goes again. And you can see how her rump is getting covered with that green crayon. So, just a fleeting mark. It's probably a failed attempt, but when the back end is covered in green, you know they've mated. So hopefully 20th of January she'll have some babies. She's definitely in heat. The first ewe that he serviced, her number is Blue 24. Couldn't get close to her, but I've learned that I can use my zoom lens on my camera and take a picture of it and get the ear tag number. So that makes it a lot easier. Notice from a distance that I don't have the breeding harness on right. It slips, so I got to catch him and redo it. I had it on wrong. It's supposed to cross over their shoulders here, which it does now, and then this one goes behind the front legs to keep it from slipping forward. So now we'll turn him loose. He's good to go. So another ewe here with some green marks on her. That's number 25 Blue. Just a couple of stripes. I'm not sure. She was standing good, but we'll keep an eye on her. Had a very good day. Thanks again for joining us at Norwal Farm.